Welcome to State of Tech. My name's Jared, and we're looking at the Galaxy Note 5 camera today. Now, for me, smartphones are only as good as their camera. Obviously, there's a lot of other features that are important, and with this Note 5 just being a beautiful device, that very powerful device, for me, the camera can make or break the experience for me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the camera and its performance today. I've spent a lot of time using this device, taking a lot of photos and shooting video in all the different modes, trying to figure out what works best and what is the best overall experience in using this phone as a camera. So, we all know that it has a large sensor on the back, able to take very large photos, 16 megapixel photos, shoot 4K video and all that good stuff. And then the front-facing camera or selfie machine or whatever you want to call it does a pretty decent job too. So what does work and what doesn't work? Now, the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 has the ability to install all of these different camera modes, and it can actually get kind of fun. There's lots of really interesting camera modes, but I found that in order to get really good photos, the best camera mode is the Pro mode, which definitely means that you're going to need to learn how to use some settings and kind of figure out how to change those settings to get a good photo. And we'll talk about that in another video. I want to kind of teach you guys how to use Pro mode. So look forward to that video by subscribing to our channel here on State of Tech, and you'll get access to that video. But as far as this camera goes, which modes work best for shooting photos? Which photo which size of photo, 16 by 9, 4 by 3? When you're shooting video, do you get better video shooting in HD or 4K? Like what's the difference? So I spent a lot of time taking pictures and shooting video in these different formats and different sizes, trying to figure out how do you get the best quality content out of your Note 5 camera. And here's what I found. When shooting photos, the only difference between the two different sizes or the two different crop factors is the size of the image that you're going to end up with. They give you a 16 megapixel image by kind of cropping it at 16 to 9 ratio. So 16:9 ratio is what you're getting. So that's typically a shorter image, a shorter and wider image than a lot of other cameras typically produce. If you're thinking about a DSLR camera and how that operates, when you're shooting with a crop sensor camera, you're usually getting a shorter and wider image than you are when you're shooting with a full frame camera. You're getting a much larger image. So that's kind of the difference. If you want to go to the 4:3 crop factor, you end up getting a slightly smaller image because it's cropping that in a little bit, but the quality of the image, there is absolutely no difference. As long as you're using the same camera settings, when you switch between those two, the quality of the image, there's no difference there. It's just the overall size of the image. And if all you're doing is posting the image to, Instagram or Facebook or something like that, it's really not going to matter. It just comes down to how do you like your photos cropped, 16:9 or 4:3? What's your preference? Video, however, there is a bit of a difference in all of these different video modes. Obviously, there are some relatively small video modes that are good for higher frame rate. Maybe you want to make a slow motion video or something like that, but the higher rates are good for better quality video. So you could shoot as low quality as VGA, and it kind of gives you an example of what those settings are going to do down below when you're looking in the phone. So typically FHD at 60 frames per second is where I would think would be the best mode to shoot in. However, I found that if you want the best quality footage, you want to shoot 4K. Not simply because it's larger, because obviously 1080p is much smaller, or HD is much smaller than UHD, which was what 4K is called. But you're going to get better quality footage. The video you're watching right now is HD. We didn't film this in 4K. But what I'm showing you now is the difference between the footage that I shot in HD, which is the FHD 60 frames per second, option in the Note 5, and then the 4K footage scaled down to HD. The 4K footage scaled down to HD is way higher quality. There's more color depth, there's more detail, everything about it is better. And so if I had to recommend to you what you should shoot video in, as long as that video didn't need to be longer than 5 minutes, I would say shoot it in UHD. Yes, it's going to be a larger file, but you're going to get higher quality video. So if you're just shooting video to post to Instagram or something like that, you could shoot in HD. It's probably in the FHD or even the HD, which is the 720p, and you're going to be just fine. However, if you want the highest quality video, maybe you're going to be taking the video off of your Note 5 and using it in some other sort of a production, and you want the best quality possible, I would shoot in UHD and then scale that video footage down to HD, or just deliver it in 4K. Eventually, we will all have 4K televisions. So that's been the difference that I found, and I think that if you take the time to kind of play around with those video settings, you're going to find that shooting in 4K is a much better experience as far as the quality of footage that you're going to get. Now, when you do shoot in 4K, you're limited to 5-minute long clips. That's as long as this phone will allow you to shoot. Whereas in FHD, it allows you to shoot for much longer. It doesn't actually give you a cutoff time of 5 minutes. I'm assuming you could probably shoot a 30-minute long clip as long as you had the available memory on your phone. If you are going to shoot in 4K, those file sizes are going to be much larger, which means I would recommend on occasion backing those video files up to maybe another device, plug in your phone into your computer and copy those off, or use something like Dropbox so that your videos and your photos are always being backed up to Dropbox, and then you can delete them from your phone to clear up more space, because the 4K video is more than double the size of the file than shooting in HD. So just be aware of that, because that is quite a large difference. So overall, the camera is pretty good. There have been many circumstances in lower light situations where I've tried to take photos and they've came out really blurry. I have kids, and in the evening we're all playing and having fun, and I like to take pictures of them. And as long as it's really bright inside our house, I'm getting good photos. If I leave the camera in automatic mode, it's gonna get blurry photos just with the available room light and the limited light that's coming through our windows in the evenings. So I have to go into pro mode, and I have to have the camera set up so that the shutter speed is higher, so that the camera doesn't end up dragging the shutter to try and get more light in and causing blurry images. Now, I know these are kind of more advanced photography techniques, and I really do want to talk about that in another video. So if you're interested in using pro mode on this camera, definitely subscribe to our channel so that you can get those videos. But you kind of have to take control of the camera on this phone in order to get the best possible pictures out of it. And that's not a problem as long as you are aware of that and you know how to set up those settings. So in auto mode on this camera, it does fantastic outside in daylight, when it's nice and sunny out and all that good stuff. When it comes to the evenings and you're trying to take pictures indoors or maybe at an event where the lighting is lower, you're gonna have problems. People are gonna be blurry, the photos aren't gonna be very sharp, and that just has to do with the way that I think Samsung programmed their phone as far as how the automatic function works, because I can get sharper images if I put it in pro mode. Automatic mode, however, doesn't do that good. So it just comes down to the software, not even so much the sensor of the camera. So overall thoughts on this camera: I do think it's a fantastic camera. The image stabilization is far superior to other devices. I even find the image stabilization better than on the iPhone 6 Plus. It's an overall good camera. All of those modes that you can download from the Samsung App Store are kind of fun to play around and just get more out of your camera. Shooting time lapses is kind of fun with this phone. It does a really good job at that. using the app that's specific for that. Overall, it's a really good camera. Considering the price of this phone, it should be comparable or superior to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus camera, and I feel that it is just as good as the iPhone 6 Plus camera. However, iPhone does a better job in automatic shooting in an automatic mode than the Note 5 does. So that's what it comes down to. If you want a camera on your phone that's going to be good in auto and you're not going to have to think about the settings, then this camera is going to do good for you until lower light situations. It's just kind of a trade-off. You have to look at it as, you know, what camera is going to perform best based on the circumstances that you find yourself in most. So that's going to wrap up my thoughts on the Galaxy Note 5 camera. It is an excellent camera. They've made leaps and bounds over years past where I found Samsung's cameras were pretty much useless. Now they're getting really good and becoming an industry leader in as far as the camera goes. I mean, they're already an industry leader as far as phones go, but as far as the camera goes, they're getting really good. So let me know your thoughts about the camera in the comments below this video. In the description, there are also some links that you should check out. If you're looking for cases or anything else that's interesting about this phone, we've got a couple of videos to help you, kind of make a best informed decision on those things. So thanks for checking out State of Tech. We'll see you next time. Please subscribe and have a great day.